land ownership and legal documentation. We risk losing a lot of money, uh, a lot of money that is projected in projects that the governors, the counties cannot have the legal documentation. I think it is time, like we've called other stakeholders here, we need to call the CS for lands so that they come here with the ITGRC so that we can sit down and see that the processes are made different for government entities, especially the county government entities, because of the continuous encroachment and risk of losing the assets that are being given by the county governments on those pieces of lands.
I think that's a very important point. Honorable members, I think as a Senate, we shouldn't wait for IGRTC to do some of these things. If you may recall, we had a query here for water companies and a limited pension. And this committee made a decision to carry out an inquiry on that. Last week, the Treasury CS, who is one of us here before he became a CS, has gazetted the task force that you recommended to look into this issue of unlimited pension that started even before devolution. So that's the contribution of Senate. So even this issue, if we agree as a committee that we want to deal with the issue of assets for our hospitals, we would be able to resolve it. Because if that is not done, then this will continue being a query in their statements for years to come.
But Chair, it is not only the hospitals, even in the water queries. We had the problem with the land ownership issues, and municipalities, we also have the problem with land ownership issues. Yeah. So I think it is time as a committee, we bring the stakeholders here so that we can have a different approach on land ownership with the county government because of the entities and the money that is asserted in those pieces of lands.
Yeah, very well. But we also encourage counties to also, on their own, to fast track these assets identification, valuation, and update the asset register.
Chair.
Just because it's an audit query.
Chair.
Before you come in, Mark has an issue. Please proceed, Mark.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe the comment I'd want to make on the assets is that the
identity, that is where we are saying we will get involved as a committee. Yeah. So, Senator Eddy.
Yeah, Chair, I wanted to just stress on what Mark has said, and that's what I'd also raised. Because what we're discussing, yes, I do empathize with the governor's plight of not having some of the major assets being transferred from defunct county governments as well as being transferred from national government. But Chair, what I'm insisting on here, Governor, is that disclosure of property, plant, and equipment is part of financial statements preparation. That's what I want to fundamentally come out of this. Because the query here is that the financial statement reflects a nil property, plant, and equipment balance. That the person who prepared these financial documents was purporting that the county does not have anything to do with property, the hospital did not have anything to do with property, plant, and equipment. And this goes to even smaller assets that you might not even fathom, as simple things as computers. You own chairs, you own desks, you have got all these simple assets that are in the operation of the hospital. If they are not captured, there won't be a true financial position of that hospital because they are part of the asset that you have. And then, Governor, you raised something that the county government sometimes purchases these assets on behalf of the hospital. Regulation 134 of the PFM Act actually does require that in instances where you have raised that, and you know you are a lawyer, so I won't read it for you, because I just need to quote it for you. and then you will, I will have put the, crocodile in the water as you can swim, right? So regulation 134 is very clear on when asset or liabilities of a county entity, county government entity, are purchased by the executive of that county government. They have to be transferred to that entity, and the accounting officer then is required to do what Mark is talking about, categorizing those and giving values of those when they're preparing the financial statements. And the reason why this is important is because even if these assets haven't been transferred, we need to see what are the operating terms of utility of those assets with the respective entities that haven't transferred them. In some cases, we have seen people doing operating leases and some people doing capital leases with regards to assets that have not been transferred. Because at the end of the day, the auditor talked about things to do with depreciation and amortization. The utility factor of these assets, right? You are spending money on them. When the vehicle is having a problem, don't you spend money in terms of repair? It's going to affect your recurrent and operational budget. So if you don't enumerate the agreements on those assets, or even the lack of agreements of those in the financial statements, then the entire financial statement is not reflective of what is the true position of that hospital. That's what I wanted to stress, Governor, that they must be declared. And they must be declared on the basis of what is the utility factor in all of those, even if they haven't transferred. Thank you, Chair.
So I think, as we have noted with other hospitals, this is a general problem, which as a committee, we will, in our own internal meeting, find the best way out of this problem, so that we have proper asset management for all the hospitals in counties. But on the bare minimum, we also expect the county to make attempts to resolve this problem, because then it will continue being a query. And the implication is that whenever we have this query, it means the financial statements are overstated, which is another problem.
Or understated.
Understated, sorry. Understated. You know
that you are the Minister for Lands and you know the processes. But you also say that there's a difficulty. Now, in terms of recommendations, we need time frames. What time will it take the county to secure a title for the 13 acres? Because it seems hazy, and this is a prime asset that you have on this land you have all lost to. You cannot say that it takes time, endless time, that we just sit and watch. Do you have a legal I'm sure you have Mr. Yeko, he looks like the later Yeko, confusing me. No, the one sitting near you looks like the later. What time frame do we need to sort out this matter? That is important. IGTRC, the Intergovernmental Resource Committee, you work with them. Because the interlink between national and county government is something you deal with every day at the Council of Governors, that I hope to join soon. Governor, deal with this matter to finality. Don't get. I'm sure you have a competent legal team. Sort out this title issue so that it is done. You can say 6 months, a year, something.
Senator, with respect, I would want to deal with it like yesterday. Because a lot of times you get people who want to invest, they need land. Right now, next to that hospital, there's a lot of development going on, expansive development. But the absence of titles is a great drawback. Now, these 13 acres, I can guarantee you in the next space of 6-7 months, because it's work which is ongoing, we will have a title for that particular piece of land.
I think that's good. Senator, in any way, Senator Buru can help you in the spirit of broad-based and sort out this one.
Chair,